this live session tonight, maybe what you can do is to let me know what do you guys do for a living, right? So maybe perhaps what I can do is that some of the examples that I'm going to give to you later, I can cater it specifically just for you. All right. So I know there's insurance, education, and a bit of trading. Okay, got it. Healthy cooking and system cookware. A painter. Wow. Roski, I love that you are in tonight's session. Let me tell you this straight out, right? I know for a fact that there's not many people who are painters who are really going all out on the LinkedIn platform. Okay. I would encourage you to do that because I know a lot of painters, what they do is that they like to utilize Instagram, right? Because they can feature their work there. But also maybe what they can do at Roski, if you can actually go into the platform and start building up your reputation there, one thing that will really help you is because there's not much competitor there yet at this moment. Okay. If you decided to go all in and come into the LinkedIn platform, I would encourage you to do that. Do that ASAP, right? I think in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I think this is a good time for you to start strategizing your activity for 2023. So maybe perhaps tonight, some of the information I'm going to be giving to you guys is going to help you to kind of like strategize things for 2023. I love this. I got like 2 creative people here. All right. So I have someone who is a painter, a photographer. I have Katika, who is a healthy cooking system cookware. I have people in the education. I have people in IT. So it's very diverse. I also have insurance as well. Business, taxation, and corrosion inspection. Wow. Love it. So let's talk about this, right? So I'm going to be sharing with you guys some tips, some information that will definitely help you guys to 5x your lead generation within LinkedIn in 2023. A lot of the things I'm going to be sharing with you guys tonight is just like a tip of the iceberg, right? But it's good enough for you guys to kickstart your journey, okay? So here's the thing about us in POPCON. So for those of you who are very new in POPCON, let me give you like a brief introduction of what POPCON is. POPCON stands for popular content. So in the last 2 years, what we've been doing, in the last 3 years actually, what we've been doing is that we've been helping a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, and also professionals to build their reputation, to build their authority, and to build their influence on the LinkedIn platform, because we really believe in the idea that authority building is definitely the tool that you guys need that will help you to 5x your business growth in 2023. If you really want to sell in today's world, the best way for you to be able to get more leads and sales is by building up your reputation and also your authority in such a way that you are seen as the subject matter expert within your industry. There's 3 main important things that I really want to share with you guys tonight in terms of what would be the most important thing that you guys should be focusing on before you embark in the year 2023. So the first thing that I really want to focus on, one of the main problems that I noticed that a lot of entrepreneurs do is that when they come into a social media platform or when they wanted to market themselves in any channel, either you want to go into Instagram, Facebook, or even in LinkedIn, right? And I think this is something that is quite consistent, is that they don't have a clarity in terms of their brand personality and brand positioning. Okay. For me, authority building and also branding comes hand in hand. Both needs to work together in order for you to be able to be seen as the subject matter expert. You want to be seen as the person who is driving the industry. One of the most important exercise that a lot of entrepreneurs needs to do is to stop for a while and to understand their brand personality. One of the biggest mistakes that I noticed, that every time when I speak to an entrepreneur, when I ask them this one simple question, who do you sell to? Right? And this happens consistently in almost all industries of clients that we have worked with. The common answer that I will get will be this: oh, we sell to everyone, right? And that's one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of entrepreneurs do. Because here's the thing about selling to everyone. When you sell to everyone, you are basically selling to no one. You are not the only person right now that is selling the product that you're selling. Okay? There are thousands of insurance agents out there. There are hundreds and thousands of financial planners out there, right? There are other people who are painters as well. There are also other people who are also selling healthy cooking system cookware, right? So we know that we are not the only person in the market that's selling the product that we are selling. So how do we actually differentiate ourselves? How do we actually make sure that when we presented ourselves out there to our audience, to our client, to our customer, to our prospect, right? we are being seen as someone that is unique, and you want to be seen as a specialist in your industry as well, right? So in order for you to be seen as a specialist, as someone who's unique, as someone who's different, one of the most important things that you need to do is to stop for a while, right? Take a break, analyze who your client is, analyze what is your brand personality, right? What will be the voice that will be, what will be the voice that you're going to be using when you presented yourself out there to the audience. So brand personality is an important component in building or positioning a brand. In today's world, a lot of the time, personal branding is really, really important because people always follow people first before they decided to follow the brand. That's why a lot of influencers today are making a lot of money, because the amount of trust that you can basically build with a person is higher compared to the trust that you build with a brand. Yeah. So personal branding is definitely a key to successfully differentiate yourself. And it can be super critical when you want to market your product, you want to market your services. Consumer today, the customer today, the client today are more sophisticated, are more difficult to sell because they are smart bunch of people. A lot of the clients that are going to be selling to today do their research first before they buy from you. Not only they do their research first, they will also be spending a lot of their time, right, to analyze, to take a look at some of the products that's available in the market, right? They want to see if they were to invest in your product and services, is it going to be worth their time? Is it going to be worth their money? Yeah. So price is not the only deciding factor nowadays, guys. Okay. Price is not the only deciding factor. There's a lot of other factors that will get people to want to buy from you. Most of the time, consumer, clients, and customer, they will buy based on emotion first before they decided to justify it. Okay. So it's super important, guys, for you to be able to clarify your brand authority by clarifying your brand personality, right? So what do I mean by brand personality? What are some of the things that you should be focusing on when it comes to building up your brand, building up your personality for the year 2023? Number one, if you guys have not done this yet, you better start doing it. Sit down and spend some time to define who is your target audience. And if you notice the word decide is there, because I think that's really important. A lot of our clients do not want to let go in the beginning. They are so fixed with the idea that, you know what, I just want to work with this group of people. Okay. So therefore what happens is that they become like, the target market become like so big that at the end of the day, it's very difficult for you to pinpoint who are you actually selling to. A lot of financial planners have this problem. I ask them a simple question: who do you sell to? Oh, you know what? My client is professionals from the age of 30 to 50. The reason why they always want to decide to focus for the 30 to 50 market, because they always think that people in the age of 30 to 50 always have money one. So it's very money focused rather than value focused when they wanted to decide in terms of who they want to sell to. Okay. So I always advise client, guys, 30 to 50, the variables is super huge. When you are 30 years old and when you're 50-year-old, your priority in life is very different, right? People who are 50 years old don't think like a 30-year-old. So when you cannot decide on your market segment and who do you want to target specifically, it's going to be very difficult when you want to come up with a content strategy. It's going to be very difficult for you to come up with understanding their pain point, their problems, all of those. This is one of the most important exercises that you need to do. I would suggest spend some time in the next 2 weeks, okay, before 2023 happen, to really sit down and identify who is your ideal client. It's not just the demographic side. It's not just the age. Are you targeting women? Are you targeting men? All of this important information is super, super relevant. And once you have decided on who your ideal client is, the next thing that you want to do, right? And I always encourage a lot of our clients to do this exercise as well, is to really spend some time to dig deep into your client's pain and problem. So example, if you are selling insurance again, right? And your target is between 30 to 35. Where are they right now in their life? Start thinking about that. When you are 30 years old and 35 years old, where are you at that moment? What are some of the problems that you face as a professional? Let's just say if you're targeting professionals, right? At the age of 30 to 35, what are some of the problems that you have? At 30 years old, they might be at the age where they are thinking about starting a family. That could be it, right? So they are thinking about their spouse, right? They are thinking about buying their first property. So all of those are experience that they're going to. There are some audience right now, your product and services might not be related to pain and problem. Yeah, like Roski and Pete, a lot of the times you guys are selling like creative stuff, right? So for you guys, maybe it's about, you don't focus on pain and problem, but for you guys, you need to start thinking about the kind of experience that people will get if they were to acquire you and to get you your services. How would they feel if they were to hire you as their professional photographer? Right? Roski, if they were to purchase your art, what will that make them feel? There are two reasons why people buy. Either to avoid pain, number one, or to gain something. Right? There's always a motivation for people to buy. Either they want to avoid pain or they want to gain something. So for people like Roski and also Pete, where your product and services is focusing a lot more on providing experience, providing a good feeling to people, maybe you want to list down, right? Dig deep into your clients' gain. What would they gain if they were to purchase your product and services? Once you have identified the pain and problem, the third thing that you want to do, you want to spend some time in doing this, is also to identify your X factor. So what is the X factor? The X factor means your superpower, guys, right? What makes your product unique compared to the rest? What makes you unique compared to the rest, right? What differentiates your solutions? What makes you the subject matter expert and the choice for the clients? These are very important exercises that you can do, right? Have you actually spent some time to list down your superpower? Because by doing this, it will allow you to come up with effective marketing communications that you can use not just on LinkedIn, but in a lot of other things that you do in your life, right? Are you creating your website? Are you creating your, your brochures, marketing materials, all marketing materials? When you can identify the pain and problem, you can identify your superpower, your X factor. It will help you tremendously in your copywriting and a lot of other stuff, guys. So these are good exercises that you guys can do that can help you to prepare for the year 2023. Why am I emphasizing on these three questions? Because once you have identified these three things, your ideal client, the pain and problem that the clients have, what is it that they wanted to gain, what are the superpower that you have, what's your X factor, right? The game right now is about how you can actually communicate all of this information in all of your marketing material. Either it's in LinkedIn, either it's Instagram, or whatever platform that you're in. But specifically, if you want to go to LinkedIn, right? All of this information will help you in your profile generation. It will help you in your content generation. It will help you with coming up with lead magnets. It will help you in coming up with a lot of other stuff, guys, by just spending some time to get things clear. Spend some time, the next 2 weeks, right? Sit down. Okay, think about who is your target audience. Think about the pain and problem that they have, right? List it down, list as much as you can. Identify your X factor, and then spend some time to think about where you can communicate all of this. And my suggestion to this, guys, is to spend some time to do your profile. Okay? Once you have identified all of this information, spend some time to do your profile on this, right? Update your LinkedIn profile because you already have all of the information, right? If you still don't know how to do this, come to us. We'll talk about it. Okay. So before I go to the next part, I'm going to answer Pete's question on this. Should we promote the personal profile more than the company page? This is my always standard answer for this. I always believe in the idea of promoting the person before I promote the company. Okay. So I always go back to the principle on this. People buy from people first before they buy from brand. Okay. Spend some time on your personal page first because it's personal. People know that they're talking directly to you. Okay. When you have a team later on, you can focus a lot more on the company page. But for now, for me, in LinkedIn, the company page, you want to spend it more as a place for you to update activities that happens in the company, right? And on the personal page, you can actually go more personal, and most of the time, people will follow the personal page more. Second thing that you want to do for 2023, okay? And I've been talking about this for the last 3 years, guys. Content creation is now a non-negotiable activity. If you want to be seen as a subject matter expert, if you want to be seen as a authority in your industry, right? If you want to influence buyer decision, you have to be seen active in creating content. Okay. Now, when I say active, does not mean that you need to have a lot, because guys, we are all entrepreneurs, right? At the end of the day, entrepreneurs also need to run our business. Okay. So that's the one thing that I really love about the LinkedIn platform, because in comparison with a lot of the other platform, I don't need to spend too much time like in TikTok. If I really want to build my authority on TikTok, and that's one of the reason where I'm like a bit hesitant to go out on TikTok, is because one of the biggest problem that I see that I face with a lot of the other social media platform, including Facebook, is that if you do not have a team that's backing you up, and you are a solopreneur and you're trying to do everything on your own, and you are just starting, you want to find a platform that is easy for you to manage. Because at the end of the day, you still need to run your business, right? So the key to winning is not volume. The key is quality and consistency. What are the some strategies that you want to focus on in relation to content, consistent content in 2023? Number one, when you are creating your content, okay, you want to imagine. So again, this goes back to number one, why branding is important and why your ideal client is really important. Because once you have identified your ideal client, right, the most important thing that a lot of content writers and entrepreneurs do not know when it comes to the secret is that when you write your content, you want to imagine as if you are talking to your audience. The person that you are advising or the client that you are trying to enroll into buying a product. Think about it from this angle. I have my client in front of me right now. The only method of communication that I can have right now is through copywriting and content. How can I communicate to this person in such a way that I can create value to the person? That's the most powerful thing that you guys want to do, right? And this is something that we always teach our clients and students. When it comes to the mindset of creating content, always think about your audience. It's as if I'm talking to you right now. Because when you do that, the game changes, guys. Because you're no longer going to do a content that's going to be short sendiri. Okay? Short sendiri meaning it's only about me, right? There's a Malay term for it. I'm only going to talk about me. No, it's not going to work. Because here's the thing about content. Content is powerful to the audience when it's related to them. Yeah? So what you want to do is that when you create your content, the idea is about focusing on giving value to the audience. Think about the audience when you want to write to them. Okay? And at the same time, you want to learn to insert values and idea that will get your audience to shift their belief so that at the end of the day, right, they want to get the advice from you, they can trust you, they will like you, and they want to work with you. That's the game. So always focus on your audience when you're creating your content, even though when you're doing personal sharing. Okay? You know, one of the most best performing content on LinkedIn is actually personal sharing, right? Personal post works the best on LinkedIn. And every time when we do our webinar, I've always shown the examples of some of the clients that we work with, right? And when they're creating content, a lot of the viral content and the content is performing really well is when our client decided to focus on sharing personal values, but they do it in a very smart way. As much as they are talking about them, but what they do is that they are finding ways to talk about the audience in that personal post. Okay, this is the tips and tricks that we actually teach in our program, and a lot of the times it works like a charm. The next thing you want to do, okay, is to learn to choose your battle. Not all type of content works on LinkedIn in 2023. Okay, video does not perform well in LinkedIn, guys. Do you guys know that? Okay, video content is not one of the best mechanic of content that works. We noticed that there's a huge decline in terms of engagement and view in relation to video content on LinkedIn. Okay, unless if you are really good with your video, then it can go out really, really well. Okay, but for a lot of beginners and people who are just starting, video content creation can be a hassle. Right? Number one, you have to shoot the video. Number two, you need to come up with a script. Okay. Number three, you need to edit the video. you need to make sure that the video is suitable for the platform. And a lot of times, what I also notice that when it comes to video strategy, video without, the subtitle, okay, what do we call that? The write-up on the video, without that, it's will not perform well. So guys, if video is not working well, don't do video. Okay. Newsletter is actually one of the type of content that does not work well on LinkedIn. So unless if you guys have like a good strategy in creating newsletter, that may not be the type of content that you want to work on, right? So we know that there are specific type of content that works really well. Like poll works really well on LinkedIn, even though it has been declining compared to last year, but poll on LinkedIn works really well. Yeah. But there's also strategy when it comes to poll that we also tell our students that there's certain type of way when it comes to creating poll that works. There's a certain way of creating poll that does not work, right? So focus on the type of content that works. So what are the type of content that works? Copywriting with one single picture. That's it, right? And when it comes to picture, make sure that you have your photo in it, right? Because your photo, your own selfie actually works really, really well. Okay. LinkedIn, as much as it's a professional platform, but when it comes to the type of content, a lot of people who actually share personal, relatable content works really well. As long as you work within the platform itself and the context of the platform, it works really, really well. So guys, don't spend time on the type of content that do not work. Focus on the content that work, because when you know it's working, then you don't have to waste time trying to edit video and doing stuff that's not working for you, right? The game is about being smart, guys. You want to be smart and you want to choose your battle. Another thing that's also really, really important, and I think this is super, I really need to emphasize the importance of this. For 2023, ladies and gentlemen, spend some time to create an effective content calendar, right? Because here's the thing about brand consistency and content consistency. When you are posting 2 or 3 times in a week on the LinkedIn platform, you want to make sure that it is consistent. Consistent meaning if you already decided that the best time for you is at 9 a.m. every 3 days, then you want to make sure that the calendar, right, is being marked at 9 a.m. It will come out. Okay. One of the worst habits that a lot of people do is that they spend a lot of time doing things last minute, right? You want to create an effective content calendar. And this is also relatable to the next point that I want to talk to you guys about as well, okay? Another thing that's really important, okay, when it comes to the type of content that you do, is that you need to also start to learn to not just about creating your content, but also find ways to promote your content, right? So example, the content that you create, if you know that you have a very little amount of people that's following you on LinkedIn, maybe what you can do is to use other channel that you can utilize and start sharing all of those in other channel. Like for example, you started your first post on LinkedIn, right? And you only have about 200 people that's connected to you right now. Spend time sending the information by WhatsApp to some of the people that you trust. Spend time to share this information on Facebook, right? Because right now your number is low. Okay, it's not just about creating content. A lot of the time you need to spend time to promote the content as well. Like for me, one of the examples I can give to you guys, right? I go live once a week. So whenever I go live once a week in Facebook, right, I will use the LinkedIn platform to promote the idea that I'm going to go live. Okay, you want people to come to your live show, but a lot of people, what they do is that they just hope, they just create the content with the hope that people will come and look at the content. Learn to promote your content. This is super important, right? You want to learn more about this? Again, 14 Weeks Program is something that we're going to talk about as well. And last thing that was most important, guys, when it comes to your planning and execution, you need to start thinking like a media company. Really important. Why is it important? Guys, last minute work is not going to work. Okay. One of the biggest problem I noticed that a lot of entrepreneurs who are busy is that they don't spend time to plan. And then they keep on complaining about, you know what, I'm busy, I don't have time to do this and all that. You will never have time, guys. Everyone have only 24 hours in one day. All right. But what we can do is that we can plan things out effectively. If you don't plan and execute based on the plan, it's not going to work. Okay. So what do I do when it comes to planning? I break up the work of content into 4 different work. Like example, if I want to post for January, I already plan everything up in December. Okay. So in the first week of December, what I will do is that I will spend some time to generate ideas, okay, by doing some research. So week 1 is just research. Spend some time to take a look at some content that's working, right? Take a look at what are some of the trending topics out there, do my research, right? And then after that, compile all this research information together, right? And then start deciding on my content and start creating the content the next following week. That's how I do it, right? Week 1, research. Week 2, start creating, start writing, start producing, right? Allocate time to produce. And then the following week, what you can do is that you can start editing it, right? Touching up, right? Put the photo, make sure that the content looks really good, yeah? And week number 4, start planning things up, putting it into the scheduler, and then voila, January done. Okay, your content for the whole entire January is done. Now you can start thinking about February already. The biggest problem that a lot of entrepreneurs have when it comes to social media management, especially for the newbies and people who are just starting and they are solopreneurs, is that they don't plan and execute based on what they plan, right? A lot of time it's last minute work. I know I need to post at 9 a.m. At 8:30 a.m. I'll need to start thinking about the content. That's not going to work for you guys. That's why a lot of entrepreneurs have burnout. They don't get the results that they wanted because everything is super last minute. So if you really want to become super successful in 2023, start planning and executing as if you're a media company, because that's what media company do. They plan everything ahead. Their content calendar is already planned ahead at least 6 months time. I'm not asking you guys to do for 6 months. Just do monthly. Good enough. Okay, let's talk about the last part. Strategy number 3, active engagement. Super important. Okay. What you want to do is to learn to engage. Engagement is the one that will get you to the meeting, guys. Here's the thing. I'm gonna be very upfront about this. The one that's gonna close the deal is not your content. The one that's gonna close the deal is not your branding. All of those will contribute towards you closing and getting the clients, right? What will help you to close client is the engagement, okay? The engagement, the conversation, the communication that you have with the people who are responding to your content, responding to your branding, all of those people who are communicating back to you and having engagement with them, that is the one that's going to close you the sales and leads, getting you the leads, guys, right? So one of the most important things that you want to do as strategy number 3 for 2023, guys, is to up your game when it comes to engagement. Super important, yeah? LinkedIn engagement is super important because it provides you with insights into how well your activity is resonating with your clients and audience, right? So how do I know this? Okay, if I create a content, there is no engagement, I know that's a crap content. My audience is not responding to me, okay? If it's not working, okay, after several tries, 2-3 times, still not working, guys, that's feedback, okay? Basically, your audience is not responding to you. If it's not responding to you, do something different, okay? And I've seen this so many times on LinkedIn, right? A lot of people who are just starting and then they started to put a brochure, they start to put a pamphlet of their companies into the LinkedIn content. All of those are not going to work, guys. You're going to get like click, right? People are not going to respond to you. People are not going to engage to you, okay? So it's very important to learn to see the feedback and listen to your audience. So what do you want to do when it comes to engagement? Something that is really, really important in 2023. Number 1, when it comes to engagement, right? This is a mindset, and I think it's really important. You want to focus on creating value first, not transaction. The problem with a lot of people is that they see people as transaction first. When you see people as transaction first, here's the thing. People can smell it from a mile away. They know that at the end of the day, you have an agenda, right? Guys, let's be real about it. Likes and comments are not going to pay your bills. We know that. But we need to understand that in order for us to be able to pay our bill, we need to be able to shift our mindset when it comes to dealing with people. When it comes to dealing with people, shift it, okay? Don't think about transaction first until you have presented everything to them. Okay, let me repeat this again. Don't think about transaction first until you have presented everything to them. They have seen everything about you, and then they are ready to be sold. Then we talk about transaction. Okay, very important skill to have today. When the only thing that you can think of is just numbers, dollars and cents, not going to work. Okay, so a lot of the times what you want to do is that when you're engaging with people in LinkedIn, right, either via direct messaging on the chat, okay, either when they are commenting on your posts and content, you want to learn to have fun by creating value. Okay, I'm here to create value for you. I want to have a conversation with you because through this conversation, the conversation is important, guys, because for me, conversation, if you see a conversation and you see this as something that's important, for me, conversation is a place where you can validate either this is going to be a strategic partnership between the two of you, right? The more conversation you have that is value-based and not transaction-based, it will allow you to be able to qualify the clients that you are engaging with or the prospect that you're engaging with to see either this person can suit your value or not. The good news about selling today, guys, is that when you're selling today, you have the opportunity to be able to choose who you want to work with. Okay, a lot of people don't think of it from this angle. A lot of people are operating from a very survival mentality. I just want to get the sales. But for us in POPCON and with our clients, what we do is that we work with the mindset of, I want to make sure that both of us have the same value, or at least we can work together, right? And this can only be achieved through our engagement. So think about providing value first, because when you provide value and not seeing it as a transaction, this will be a good platform for you to be able to qualify the client as well. Another thing that's also very important, you have already identified who your ideal client is before this, but there's a method for you to identify who your ideal client is on LinkedIn as well. Okay, the search function on LinkedIn is one of the most powerful search function that you can actually use to pinpoint specific audience that you want to speak with. Utilizing the filter and start connecting with all of these people that you feel would be able to create value, or you can create value for them on a daily basis, right? And this is a strategy that we always tell a lot of our clients. Spend some time to identify who they are and spend some time to connect with them daily, right? Because without enough audience, it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to get more views for your content as well. Another thing that I would suggest that you guys to do, that you can do as well, this is a good mechanic they can do, is that you want to be able to keep track of the people that you're engaging with, okay? Either through the comments, either through messaging. There's this one feature in people's LinkedIn profile, right? If you take a look at people's profile, after you see their banner and after you see the profile photo, on the right side, there's this one simple little bell that you can click on, okay? If you have identified who your ideal client is on LinkedIn and you've already connected to them, one of the things, and I think this is a game changer when it comes to engagement on LinkedIn, you can keep track on their engagement by following their bell. By clicking on the bell, whatever activity that they are doing on LinkedIn, you'll be able to see it. So if you guys are targeting these people and you see the activity and you're engaging with them consistently, right? You are building that trust, you are building that reputation with them. So this is a good practice to have, okay? Take a look into the bell. If there's someone that you wanted to connect with and you want to follow them and you want to engage with them, click on the bell, start engaging with them in all of the activities, okay? Very important skill to have. Another thing that I also like to encourage is for you guys to also create a habit of engaging with content and posts. I always tell our clients to be able to spend some time to look into their feed and start commenting and liking other people's posts and content first. Look into 3 or 5 people in your feed, start liking, commenting on them, right? Then only you start posting. After you posted your content, spend some time to engage with other people's content and posts as well. Why are you doing that? Because when you start creating that as a habit, you engage with people's posts and content, right? They will be able to engage with your posts and content as well because they notice that you've been posting. Okay, so this is like a good win-win situation. Okay, one more thing that you also need to understand, when you are posting something on LinkedIn, the first 90 minutes is really important. I always told this in my webinar. The first 90 minutes of your posting is super important. If there is any engagement in your posts and content, you will be able to get a lot of visibility for your posts. So our strategy, it has to go like this. Before you post, comment on other people first, right? Then post your stuff, then comment on other people, and then take a look into your posts. Whenever people are commenting and engaging into your posts, answer all of them. Spend some time to engage with them. It's super important because it can help you guys to have more eyeball into your content and posts. Okay, and that works tremendously in 2022, and I believe it's going to work again in 2023 as well. Once you're already engaging on their posts and content, the secret sauce in getting more leads and getting more sales is the art of having conversation through messaging. Because what you want to do is that you want to be able to get people out of LinkedIn to actually have a conversation with you, one-to-one. Okay, and this is something that we actually teach in our 14 weeks program as well. These are the 3 main strategy that personally I feel if you guys were to follow all of this to the T, you guys are going to be at least about 50% more active and engaged, and you get a lot more eyeball for your LinkedIn, and definitely going to be able to generate more leads and sales. You're definitely going to 5 times your leads and sales if you follow everything that I told you about just now. So just to summarize again, the top 3 strategy. Number 1, what you want to do is you want to spend some time to really look into your brand, take a look into your ideal clients, spend some time to get clear in terms of your brand personality. Spend some time to do that. Second thing that I want to do is look into your content strategy for 2023. Okay, like what I said earlier, some content might work, some content might not work anymore. So you want to spend some time to focus on the content that work. Okay, look into things that would work that you do not have to spend too much time on, because at the end of the day, we all agree we are all entrepreneurs. We are too busy to do a lot of things. So we need to be very smart with the way how we execute. And the third thing that you want to do is that you want to spend some time to build your authority and visibility with active engagement. And this is super important. For me, if I had to choose between content and engagement, I spend more time on engagement, especially when you're very new. On behalf of Popcorn, guys, I would like to say thank you. Have a good night. Goodbye.